Hello and welcome to another edition of PTN Extra. Hayden, Herrera, joined here by Mike, Irwin, Mike. Coming to you on a Thursday. We usually do these on a Wednesday, but Arkansas basketball had a Wednesday night game. Boy, did they ever. That is a game that I think Hog fans will be talking about for a long time, even though the Razorbacks did end up losing 117 to 115 in Tuscaloosa against number 25 Alabama in double overtime. But we'll talk about the actual loss in a second. But Mike, 49 points in 50 minutes from Darius Acuff. Dealing with a foot issue, Cal said. I mean, have you ever seen any performance like that in a Razorback uniform?
He's coming on more and more now as we get down the stretch. And if he keeps this up, he may be National Player of the Year. I don't know. They've got a lot of other people to consider, but I think he's now moving in on Conference Player of the Year. Yeah. Still didn't have it won, but I think that's just what he did was incredible. That game was. You didn't have as much on the line, but it sort of reminded me of the '69 Arkansas-Texas football game in that you lost it, but there was so much good stuff that happened in that game. You keep saying to yourself, wow, what a shame. What a shame that Acuff did that. And Acuff, Billy Richmond.
20 points from Billy, yeah.
Yeah, Malik Thomas, all those guys are contributing. You just didn't get anything from your bigs except Brazil. And as somebody said to me today, well, he's not really a big. Well, he has to be a big. And he played well. But Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle Ewan got some rebounds, but he didn't score. And Pringle had like 1 point, 2 points, and 1 rebound, 2 points, and 1 rebound. Maybe Ewan got bumped a little bit from behind on one of those tip ins. Fans have been complaining all day long. You go on the internet, and if you read the typical Razorback fan, they're going to say, well, we lost the game because of the refs. I wouldn't go that far. I think when you go on the road, your likelihood of getting a free throw imbalance goes up. I didn't have a problem with most. I think what happened to Arkansas in that game was that they played so hard and played such good defense in the first half. And when they started wearing down, then that's when you get the grabbing, the bumping. You're not technically playing as good of defense as you did in the first half. And they started getting more calls for that. And I didn't have an issue with most of that stuff. The thing they had to hope for going into that game, and no two games are officiated alike. And I think what they had to hope for was that sometimes officials would kind of let them play. Yeah. And if they had decided that before this game, we're going to let them play. You got two teams that run a lot. It's exciting. I mean, I know they get together and talk about this. Boy, this could be a great game. Let's don't get ticky-tacky on this. And if they had done that, Arkansas would have won. But to me, it's incredible that they ended up with 4 guys fouling out. Yeah. Had 2 guys on the floor that basically hadn't played hardly any at all and never any meaningful minutes. And you still came that close to tying it up again and going into another overtime period. And Alabama's the one, I'm sure they're happy, but they should have won that game going away toward the end. When they made their move at about the 8-minute mark, and what started happening there was you had so many guys with foul trouble out there that they couldn't afford to play really good defense in the paint. So at that point, that's when Alabama really did a surge. They went from being down 10 to quickly caught up. But what I thought was amazing was once Arkansas lost the lead, they didn't give up. They just kept coming back. Yeah. And it was not just Acuff, but it was all of them just in there scoring, finding ways to score. Acuff hits that big shot to send it to overtime. Then they go into double overtime. It's just a shame that when you talk about this game, and it will be talked about for a long time, it's still a loss. Mm-hmm. But what I would say to Razorback fans is, if you really understand basketball, this part of the season may be in the moment, but winning road games like this aren't expected. I don't care. Arkansas had not beaten a ranked Alabama team in Tuscaloosa since 1995. Think about how long ago that was.
31
There's
years.
a reason why you don't win games like that. I don't care who you are. And we're seeing that all over the country. Teams are getting, we've seen a lot of teams getting beat at home. So I think Arkansas is still in really good shape. I would mention the fact that I had said several times, including here last week, to people that say you don't need Carter Knox. You know, they got Wagner back, but a lot of people, we don't need Wagner. Well, where would they have been if they didn't have Wagner last night? You need those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And you need them because you're going to get in foul trouble, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Malik was the first to go, then Pringle, then Wagner, then Billy. And so you had Jared Karaletwa
Yeah.
and Zafich, whose names we haven't really talked about since that prime time at the Palace exhibition that
I
they
thought
had.
both of them did a really good job of not doing anything dumb.
Right.
You know,
that was
just
their
being
job.
a part of the offense, passing the ball off.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not aware of anybody that had a defensive, either one of those guys just had a bad defensive gaffe. So,
No, I think they were fine. Yeah, I mean, they did what they could do. Cal said it wasn't fair for them. Sometimes
it
they don't
wasn't.
even practice as much as the other guys.
but, you know, again, it's a thing that you're disappointed in, but I think after a day or two, you're going to start to realize that was very impressive.
So the SEC standings, Florida now with a 2-game lead. Bama, Arkansas, Tennessee all tied for second. Still think there's a chance there for
I don't think they're going to win
Florida's to lose now?
I don't think they're going to win it because they'll have to beat Florida and somebody else. They'd hold the tiebreaker over Florida and then beat somebody else, and Florida would have to lose again. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think the issue is whether they can finish second and whether or not they can be a 4 seed instead of a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
And some of that would depend on what they do in the SEC tournament. They've got 3 games at home and 2 on the road. So that bodes well, but you're going to have to, I don't know, you're going to have to beat A&M on the road. You're going to have to beat Missouri on the road. You're going to have to do something like that. And that, if you win one of those, you might finish second. If you win 2 of those, if you get 2 more road wins, you got second place, I think. But you got to win the remaining home games.
Hogs host Missouri on Saturday, first of 2 games against the Tigers this season. A Missouri team that just beat Vanderbilt last night, by the way.
I mean, there's no team you can count out.
No.
Except
Auburn. Seems like they're sliding.
Auburn's sliding now. I don't know what's happening with them, but
Yeah.
wish Alabama were sliding right now. They're getting better.
Plenty more to talk about. We've actually got some football news. We had some football news this week. Ryan Silverfield and all 3 of his coordinators speaking with the media in not just a Zoom session. This was an actual in-person press conference, something that's kind of rare in Arkansas athletics these days. Lunsford had the mic first, then all 3, Cramsey, Roberts, and Chad, his last name, Lunsford, yeah. What were your big takeaways from what Silverfield and the coordinators had to say?
First of all, I thought it was interesting when Silverfield addressed, and at that time, they had only lost their D-line coach. They've since, I guess, lost 2 coaches. But he just basically said, look, I have a lot of faith in the one. And he said, that's why I had multiple coaches in one of these positions, offensive line, defensive line, I think in the secondary, because he said there were a lot of reasons for that. You want to be able to have eyes on as many of these guys as possible. So if you got a position where you got a lot of 10, 12 guys at a position, you need 2 coaches. But it also helps if you lose one. The reaction from a lot of the fans was, and you got to understand, the internet is basically negative, and they're still negative. They haven't impressed some of these people, and so the reaction was, yeah, you got such a good staff, they're already leaving you because they don't want you. They know how bad things are. Well, that's clearly not what happened. If you look at where both of these coaches went, one took an NFL job, the other went from being a quarterback's coach to a coordinator.
Yeah.
And that's a step up. And if Trickett wants to be an actual offensive coordinator at a school in the SEC, that's what he has to do. Yeah. So it looks like what ended up happening is they go over and they bring Memphis's quarterback's coach on. So what does that mean for the Memphis redshirt freshman quarterback here? First of all, Tim Cramsey, the offensive coordinator, had been asked about him, and he described him as being 6'6" and 245. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. And I went and looked on the website, and they got him more like 6'3", about 235. And I'm going, well, did he get bigger? Has he grown a lot since then? Has he gotten taller? So I want to see that.
Right.
Sometimes coaches will play something up, but maybe he's telling the truth. I will say this, bringing in Memphis's quarterback's coach when you already had their offensive coordinator who also coaches quarterbacks and the guy that's running the offense, this kid already had an advantage over the other quarterbacks because he knows the offense. Yeah. Cramsey even mentioned that he was teaching the other quarterbacks principles of the offense now, even though they're just in winter conditioning and haven't really started spring
X's and
football.
O's, yeah.
So I just think more and more he gets more of an advantage because of familiarity. I think K-Jack Jackson is going to have to play his butt off and have a really good spring to keep that job.
It's suddenly become kind of a intriguing storyline.
And it's a good thing because, again, what did I say about this? You have to have a backup quarterback that won't get you beat if the starter gets hurt. And we know what that means because with Pittman, we went through that. We went through situations where if K.J. Jefferson got hurt, they didn't have anybody that could win.
Right.
So having two quarterbacks that good, as long as Jackson doesn't get mad and leave, I don't think he would. You don't have a portal anymore. So
yeah, just one window now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. First football practice March 15th, so we're less than a month away. We'll get to see these guys on the field, and then the spring game set for late April, assuming it doesn't rain or anything. Gets moved indoors like it normally does. All right, that does it for our first segment. We got more coming up on PTN Extra. I sat down with Natalie Dumas, a highly touted track and field recruit, one of the most coveted in the country. She chose Arkansas. I talked to her about her decision and what she has, her goals for being a Razorback. Coming up, that's on PTN Extra. Welcome back to PTN Extra. Hayden Herrera here, joined with a special guest. This is one of the top high school running talents in the country. Her name is Natalie Dumas from Voorhees, New Jersey, and Eastern Senior High School. Natalie, thanks for joining us today. The news, you made it official just a few weeks ago, and Arkansas's track and field put it on their social media this week, but you have committed to run track in college at the University of Arkansas for the Razorbacks. You're the newest Razorback. How does that sentence feel?
I mean, it feels great. I don't have to hide it anymore. A lot of the process was really just trying not to leak to school. I kept like saying it out loud, and I would be like, "Oh crap, I can't say that."
Yeah, I imagine just with everything, the recruiting visits. I mean, how long of a process did this kind of all start for you?
Honestly, like I want to say that it started. It was a while back. It was in summer. The visits were from like September to October, so it took up like 2 months, and it was a lot of work.
And what were the main things you were looking for in your visits as far as a program and a school that you wanted to join?
Yeah, I was looking for like overall the environment, and when I say environment, I mean like the people. Honestly, just the team and the atmosphere of how they were and what their vibes were. And not only that, the kind of just like the facilities, checking out all their different resources, especially like training rooms and all of that.
So what was the visit to Fayetteville like, and what was it about it, or not only that, but just everything that involves the Razorbacks that made you want to commit to Arkansas?
I mean, honestly, like the visit overall, it was great. It was very single, I want to say. So like I got my own focus and I was able to be focused on a lot more. And they kind of just touched every detail and all the bases that I was kind of looking for. Like they showed me their weight rooms, they showed me their facility, their training, the indoor and outdoor track, and just overall I just fell in love with it.
That's awesome. And did you get to explore around Fayetteville, the city at all? It's a very college town, SEC.
Yeah, I definitely did. I was exploring a lot. I got to go to the football game, and it was actually pouring, raining that day, so it's a little bit of a mess, but at least I know what to expect.
Yeah, we had several Saturday. We had bad luck this year with football, not only with the result on the field, but the weather. I feel like there was only maybe one or two games in Fayetteville where it wasn't raining. So hopefully, when you're a freshman and you go with all your friends and teammates, that there'll be a little more sunny days at Razorback Stadium to hang out on Saturday. So I forgot to mention your statistic. I mean, last year you had some incredible times, the top 10 high school times last year in the 400, 800, 400 meter hurdles. You've got top 10 all-time high school times in the 400, 600. You're fifth in the 800. You're eighth all-time in the 400 meter hurdles. For you, I mean, you come from a running family, so how early did you get involved in running, and when did you realize this is something you really want to pursue and continue at?
So I started running freshman year with my sister. She was a senior. I ran with her, and then honestly, it was really just like there's four spots in the 4x4, and at the end of the day, I have to beat out multiple other girls. So it was like, do I want to be on a team with my sister in the 4x4. So that was honestly my goal, that to get faster, to run with my senior sister for her last year. So I was really just focused on getting faster for her, and then all the other times started to come. And as she left, which was my sophomore year, she was the 800 runner on the team, so that became my task now. And I had to run the 800, and honestly, it was just working into it and like learning new events.
What would you say? I mean, do you have a favorite among those three events that you enjoy doing the most?
People always ask me this question, and there's multiple I mean, I explain it in multiple different ways. Like the 400, I would say is probably my favorite,
Yeah.
which is like a shock to everyone because everyone hates 400. I want to say out of the three of them, obviously none of them are easy, but the easiest would probably be the 800 for me, which is a really weird take everyone always says. And then the 400 hurdles, it's a love-hate because I just know that I could do so much better if I fix my form.
Yeah, I remember. I was surprised to hear you talk about the 800 because I remember interviewing Raven Rogers, who is a legendary 800 runner, and she said, it's basically run your heart out for one lap, and then you've got to do it all over again one more time, and
Yeah.
very very painful. But you've done well at it. I mean, when things are really, what do you accredit your success to from last year? Was it just a combination of being healthy and just everything training was going right?
Yeah, so honestly, it definitely was a big factor of it was just being healthy. Throughout the indoor season, you didn't see a big break from me, really. Um, and that was all just because I was doing a lot of conditioning and work. And I obviously had to sacrifice a little bit of my winter season, um, just to because I didn't want to overpressure myself throughout and just drag my season for too long. So I wasn't as strong winter, but I used it to gain more power going towards the spring, which really helped me. And I did my turnover at the spring, which was a lot faster.
And when it comes to just development, I'm sure when you were going through all these recruiting visits and coming to Fayetteville, as far as development, do you feel like Fayetteville's the place that can really help you over these next 4 years develop into even a more elite runner than you already are?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main reason why I chose Arkansas is because I felt that I could put my trust in them 100% to get me to where I need to be. And I think that out of every school that I went to and all of the ones that I visited, it was kind of just like I had the most faith in Arkansas to get me to those times and to how I want to run. And that's why I chose them.
I know you're young, but how much of the tradition of Arkansas track and field have you gotten to learn about, especially since you've signed? I'm sure when you made the recruiting visit, you saw the banners and everything, all the national championships. How exciting is it to be getting to possibly add to that legacy?
I mean, it's crazy to me. Like I'm so excited. I've been trying to keep up with them now, like their team now. I've actually raced against some of them, like the Herbst twins, Ryan Jennings,
Oh,
she's
okay.
also from New Jersey, and we would see each other like every track meet. So I do know a couple people, the Sharp sisters also from New Jersey. So I have my fair share in the team and I just know a few people.
Um, I mentioned you're from a running family, and your sister runs. How much of that? How much did you lean on her, and just kind of learning about how collegiate running is compared to the high school ranks?
Yeah, I mean, she walked me through freshman year. Like she taught me A skips, B skips, all the little stretches and all of that. So she just honestly taught me everything and what high school was like. And she's now an example of what college will be like. And seeing that she is able to go to college and make that adjustment and kind of just turn it around and still continue to do really well. It gives me faith to do the same thing. Like I'm not as scared as I would be just because I have an example in front of me.
That's awesome. So I guess now we're in 2026. So before you get here, you still got your high school career to finish off. I guess what are some goals you want to knock off? I know we saw you at the Milrose Games just a few weeks ago in the 600 with a great performance. What else are you hoping to accomplish before you get down here to Fayetteville?
I mean, my entire goal is really just to lower my times as much as I can. I know that Arkansas is going to drop my times. I fully trust them to drop my times. So I'm just like, as much time as I can drop now, it'll help me later when they start to drop my time. So I'm just trying to drop time, whatever I can. The only real goals I have right now are I would like to say the 800 record outdoor. And I really want to run a 4950 outdoor also for the 400.
All right, some lofty goals, but I think you can. I think can attack them. Last question. This is an important one. Has the family learned how to call the hogs with the woo pig suey and all that? It's big tradition down here. I'm sure you saw it whenever you were down here in Fayetteville.
Yeah, they've been practicing. I'm getting on them every day to start learning it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you and the family come down here, especially for next season. And exciting times here in Fayetteville. We got the NCAA Indoor Championships here in a few weeks. That'll be fun to watch. A lot of exciting stuff. Thank you again, Natalie, and more PTN Extra coming up after the break. Welcome back to PTN Extra. Hayden Herrera, joined by Mike Irwin. Mike, home opener for Arkansas baseball Friday, taking on the Musketeers of Xavier. Got the new video board out there in left field. There's a jersey, hoodie, some kind of giveaway. Fans are excited about that. A lot of excitement for this weekend of baseball. But I want to ask you what you thought. We finally got to see Dave Van Horn's 2026 squad last week down in Arlington at the Shriners Children's College Showdown, if I got that title right. I played a couple different teams. What did you see out of this first weekend?
Well, first of all, it was totally the opposite of what I said here last week, which proves once again you can sit here and talk about all you want about what you think is going to happen. Baseball is so unpredictable. Yeah. All sports are, but baseball more than any. What did I say? I said I felt like the pitching would be good, the hitting would be good. I questioned their defense. The defense was the best thing they did. Pitching was good in spots, but there were two or three places where they brought people in, like for instance, giving up the lead in the Texas Tech game in the top of the ninth, just totally blowing the game, and then looked like they were going to lose, and then they come back and send it into extra innings, and they come ahead and win it. So what I will do is readjust. The biggest issue I have right now is I'm not sure what's going on with this with the hitters. The top 4 or 5 spots in the lineup, those guys are striking out too much, and they're failing to deliver with runners in scoring position. And they did it in the TCU game, and they did it in the Texas Tech game. And then they turn around, and this is very concerning. You're playing Tarleton State on Monday. You score 3 runs in the top of the first, or bottom of the first, and you don't score again. And they had to rely on pitching. Thank goodness they had the pitching they needed. But all of those things are somewhat concerning. That's definitely, if you're a fan, that's what I would be looking for. Let's see how well they hit the ball this weekend. I want to see if Helfrich, he sort of came out, he started off like a house on fire in that Oklahoma State game. 2 home runs, looking good, and then he just kind of vanished for a while. Came back toward the end of the Texas Tech game and looked pretty good. I think he was involved in that first inning against Tarleton State. I want to see if he's more consistent. I want to see if Mike Anu is more consistent. What's going on with Souza? He's right now a DH, but is he going to start? Did somebody else take the starting spot away from him? And what do you do about Aloy? Because Van Horn said he had a bad ankle when he hit a home run in the, I think he hit a home run in the TCU game late. Mm-hmm. But then he said he was limping so much, he didn't have him in the next game against Texas Tech. So is he okay now? So be looking for that. At some point, does Sousa stay the DH? Because what you would really like is for Aloy to be the DH, because if he's not and he plays, he's going to have to be in right field. We've heard all this talk about this scrimmage this one scrimmage where he played right field, and fans are on the internet talking about it, and he was terrible according to them. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing. Well, thankfully, they didn't hit a lot of stuff out there in the game that he was playing in. I think he played 2 games in Arlington. So we'll see if he's back out in right field, and does he look good? Does he drop a fly ball out there, a routine fly ball? There are a lot of question marks going into this series this weekend, but that's what it's for.
Given the opponent, I mean, Xavier, kind of a mid-major, would you expect anything less than a sweep? But given the
But
pitchers,
again, like some people have said to me, you don't know how good these teams are right now.
Right.
Like one of the guys I was talking to said, well, how do you know that this team they played on Monday, how do you know that Tarleton State's not really good? Maybe they had really good pitchers. Well, you don't, because this early in the year, you have no point of reference on this stuff.
Right. All right, well, we'll get to see it all starting on Friday. Busy day Friday. Arkansas baseball home opener, Arkansas softball home opener, gymnastics host Kentucky at Bud Walton. We got a track meet, so much stuff going on.
I'm anxious to see the softball team. They look like the hottest team on campus.
They've run ruled everybody. It's just
they've got offense, they've got
pitching.
I want to see them keep this up.
It will be very exciting to see. Good start for Courtney Dival's squad. All right, that's going to do it for us for this edition for PTN Extra. We'll see you next week.